jolted awake to the smell of smoke, thick and bitter, like something important was burning. For a second I thought the house was on fire. I stumbled downstairs, heart smashing against my ribs, and yanked open the back door. "Laura," I called. "What's happening?" She stood by the metal fire pit, still in her robe, dropping our wedding photos into the flames, one by one. She didn't even look up. "What are you doing?" I said, stepping closer, heat slapping my face. "You don't deserve memories of us." She said softly. It hit harder than shouting. "What does that even mean?" My voice cracked. "Laura, talk to me." Her eyes stayed glued to the fire. A photo curled in the flames, our faces melting together like wax. "Is this some kind of joke?" I asked. "Are you drunk?" "No." "Then why are you doing this?" Silence. She picked up another picture. "Laura, answer me." "I'm done explaining myself to you," she said. "What does that mean?" "What did I do?" She finally looked at me and something cold passed between us. "Please go back inside." "No," I said. "Not until you tell me what's going on." She pressed her lips together, then shook her head. "This isn't about you anymore. I'm your husband." "How is this not about me?" She threw in another photo. I took a step closer. "Laura, is someone influencing you? Did someone put these ideas in your head?" Her jaw tensed. "Who's here?" I said, "No one. You're lying." I felt it more than I heard it tanned. Then I saw it. Movement behind the fence. A shadow ducking lower, just barely. "Who the hell is that?" I said. "No one," she repeated too quickly. "Laura." She closed her eyes. Shoulders shaking once, I said, "Go inside." I walked toward the fence. "Don't," she whispered, but I kept moving. The shadow flinched again. "Come out," I said. "Now? Nothing. I swear to God, if someone's in my yard, I didn't want you to find out like this," Laura said, voice breaking. I froze. My hands went numb. "Find out what?" The gate creaked just an inch, enough for me to see part of a shoe, then a hand gripping the wood. "Who is that?" I demanded. Laura swallowed hard. "Evan." The name meant nothing at first. Just a sound. Then it hit, like falling straight through the floor. "Evan," I repeated. "Who the hell is Evan?" She didn't answer. "Laura, someone who's been there for me," she said. My stomach twisted. "There for you how?" "I didn't plan for this," she whispered. The gate moved again, and a man's voice said, "Laura, maybe we should shut up," I snapped. "Don't you talk?" He went silent. I took a shaky breath. "How long?" Laura wiped her nose with the back of her hand. "A few months." I felt sick. "You burned our wedding photos," I said. "Because of him?" "I can't keep pretending," she said. "And you didn't think I deserved a conversation before you torched our life." Tears spilled down her cheeks, but I couldn't tell if they were guilt or fear or just exhaustion. "You replaced me," I said quietly. "And you couldn't even look at me while you did it." "Sorry," she whispered. "No," I said. "You're not." I stood there, fire crackling between us like it was eating the last scraps of my reality. I waited for something anger, collapse, screaming, but all I felt was numb. "What now?" I asked. "I don't know." "Well, I do," I said. "I'm not staying here." She nodded without fighting it. "I'll pack a bag," I said. "Do you want me to help?" I almost laughed at that. "No, you've helped enough." I turned toward the house, but stopped at the door. "Does he live here now?" I asked. "No," she said. "But he will," I added. She didn't deny it. Something inside me broke, clean and final. I walked inside, grabbed a bag, and threw in whatever I could reach. When I came back out, the fire was dying, a pile of blackened scraps where my life used to be. "I hope you find what you're looking for," I said. She hugged herself. "I already did." I didn't respond. I stepped past her, past the fire, past the man hiding behind the fence, and out into the cold morning that suddenly felt like someone else's life. I kept walking until the street curved away from the house, till my breath steadied enough for me to feel the full weight of what she'd done. I whispered to myself, "I'll survive this." And even though I barely believed it, Saying the words kept me moving forward. I didn't look back again as the sun broke the horizon. I need you to say something, I whispered. Tell me this isn't what I think it is. Laura didn't even look guilty. She stood near the doorway with her arms crossed. Fine, I'll say it. I've been seeing Evan for almost a year. My breath slipped out of me. A year. Laura, we've only been married 2, and most of that felt empty, she said. You were distant. Cold. I felt alone. Don't put this on me, I shot back. Don't pretend this is my fault. Not pretending, she said. You stopped trying, I stopped. Laura, I worked 2 jobs for us. I tried every day, my voice cracked. How could you hide this for a year? She shrugged. I didn't plan it. Evan understood me. He made me feel seen. I pressed my hand against my forehead. So he told you to burn our photos? He helped me realize I needed to move on, she said. He said memories kept me tied to something dead. You agreed with that? I asked. You agreed to erase me? Yes, she said simply. I did. I felt the floor tilt. You burned them because he told you to. No, she replied. I burned them because I wanted a clean start. That's the same thing. Believe whatever you want, she said. I'm done arguing. I stepped back. I can't even recognize you. You don't have to, she said. This is the last honest thing I'll do with you. My phone buzzed in my pocket. Mark had texted, outside. You okay? I replied with shaking hands, just come in. A knock came a moment later. Laura rolled her eyes. Seriously? I needed someone here, I told her. I'm falling apart, Laura. Drama, she muttered. I opened the door, and Mark stepped in fast. Dude, what happened? You sounded like you couldn't breathe. I can't, I whispered. Mark looked at Laura. What did you do? She crossed her arms. That's none of your business. After what I saw outside, it's my business, he said. You burned their wedding photos? Laura's face didn't move. They were mine too. Not anymore, Mark snapped. I held up my hand. Mark, stop. I can't, just don't. Mark moved toward me instead. Talk to me. Why were you crying on the phone? I swallowed hard. She's been cheating. For a year, he froze. You're joking. No, I said. Not even a little. Mark turned slowly toward her. A year? Are you serious? Laura shrugged again. It happened. You don't even look sorry, Mark said. I'm not, she answered. My stomach twisted. You could at least pretend it hurts you. It doesn't, she said. We've been done for a long time. You just didn't see it. That's cruel, Mark said. He loved you. People change, she replied. Mark shook his head. Not like that. Laura looked toward the hallway. Evan is coming soon. He'll help me pack. My heart dropped. He's coming here? Yes, she said. He's helping me move. You're letting him in our house? I asked. My house too, she said. I can let in whoever I want. Mark stepped forward. Are you out of your mind? She glared at him. Stay out of it. He's my best friend, Mark shot back. You think I'm just going to watch you drag your boyfriend in here while you break him? I don't care what you watch, she said. I held on to the back of a chair, trying not to collapse. Laura, please. Not here. Not in front of me. She shrugged. It's just easier this way. Easier for who? I whispered. Me, she said. Look, I'm being honest with you. You should appreciate that. Mark let out a sharp laugh. You're unbelievable. Laura walked to the kitchen and grabbed her water bottle. I don't have time for your judgments, Laura, I said, fighting for breath. Did you ever love me? Even once? She paused. Not long enough to mean anything. I did. But I grew out of it, that fast. I asked. It happens, she said. Mark clenched his fists. You don't talk to someone like that. She's already said worse, I murmured. Laura looked at me, bored. You'll feel better once we're done. We, I repeated. There is no we anymore. That's exactly what I'm saying, she replied. So let's not drag this out. Car door slammed outside. My chest tightened. That's him, isn't it? Yes, she said. Mark growled under his breath. I swear no, I said quickly. Don't do anything, please. Evan's footsteps approached. I felt like a prisoner waiting for the guard to unlock the door. When Laura opened it, Evan smiled like he'd won some contest. He glanced at me. Man, don't call a man, Mark snapped. Evan shrugged. Just here to help. With what? I asked. My things, Laura replied. He's helping me get them. My voice cracked. You're really doing this in front of me? It's practical, she said. Nothing more. Evan stepped inside with a box. Let's just grab your stuff and go. Mark moved toward him. Touch anything that's his, and we have a problem. I'm not touching his, Evan said. I'm touching hers. I felt something in me tear. Just get it over with. Laura nodded and walked down the hallway with Evan trailing behind her. Mark stayed beside me. You don't deserve this, I whispered. I don't know what I deserve anymore. Mark put a hand on my shoulder. Then let me remind you. You deserve better than both of them. I closed my eyes as their voices echoed down the hall. Everything I thought I knew was gone. All I could do was stand there and try not to fall apart. You said. Evan wandered through the living room like he owned it, touching the walls, the shelves, even the couch. I clenched my jaw as he smirked. Nice place, he said. A little dull, though. It wasn't dull until you walked in, I muttered. He chuckled. Touchy. I'm just trying to help Laura pack. I'm judging my home. Our home, Laura corrected from the hallway. Stop acting like he's a stranger. I stared at her. He is a stranger. You just chose to forget that. Laura rolled her eyes. Don't start again. I'm trying to stay calm. Calm. I laughed softly. You burned our wedding photos an hour ago. That was symbolic, she said. I needed to free myself. Free yourself from what? Marriage? Reality? Me? She ignored me and walked past with a box. Evan watched her go, then leaned toward me. You really didn't see this coming? Don't talk to me, I said. He shrugged. Just being honest. Before I could respond, the front door swung open and a voice shouted, Laura? What the hell is going on? Chloe stepped inside, her eyes wide with shock. Mom called me. She said you were acting crazy. I didn't believe her until now, Laura groaned. Of course she called you. Chloe looked at the boxes, then at Evan, then at me. You're leaving him? Just like that? Laura crossed her arms. Don't make this dramatic. You burned their photos, Chloe yelled. How is that not dramatic? Evan stepped forward. She doesn't need to justify herself. Chloe glared at him. I'm not talking to you, Laura snapped. Stop attacking him. Laura, Chloe said, turning back to her. Have you lost your mind? This is your husband, was Laura corrected. Past tense. Hearing it made my chest tighten. You really enjoy saying that? Being honest? She said. Chloe walked toward me instead. Are you okay? No, I whispered. But thanks for asking, Laura scoffed. You two can bond later. Chloe spun on her. He doesn't deserve this. He deserves the truth, Laura shot back. Evan added, and she's giving it. Chloe ignored him again. Laura, you're not acting like yourself. You haven't been for months? Laura froze for a second, just a second, before forcing a smile. I'm fine. You're not, Chloe said. You've changed. You're cold. You're angry all the time. I'm allowed to change, Laura replied. I stepped closer. Change is one thing. Burning our history is another. Treating me like trash is another. Letting him walk around my home like he paid for it, he will, Laura said quickly. We're getting a place together. The room went silent. Chloe's voice trembled. You're moving in with him? Already? That's the plan, Evan said casually. My stomach twisted. So you weren't planning to talk? You were planning to leave? Laura sighed loudly. Yes, for good. I didn't want to drag it out, Chloe whispered. Oh my God, Laura, Laura snapped. Stop acting like I'm dying. Chloe shouted back. You're acting like a stranger. Evan lifted a box. Let's keep going. We're almost done. I stepped in front of him. Don't touch anything else, he smirked. Or what? Stop, Chloe said, stepping between us. Both of you. This is already a disaster, Laura pushed past her. I don't need saving. I'm making my own choices. Chloe chased after her. Are they yours? Or his? Laura froze again longer this time. Evan said quickly she knows what she wants. Chloe narrowed her eyes. Do you? Or does he tell you what to want? Enough. Laura shouted. The house echoed with her voice. I flinched. Laura pointed at Chloe. I don't want your input. I don't want your judgment. I don't need your approval, Chloe whispered. I'm not trying to judge you. I'm trying to protect you. I don't need protection. You need clarity, Chloe said softly. You're not thinking straight. Laura shook her head. I'm thinking better than ever. Evan touched her arm. Let's finish. You don't have to explain anything. Laura leaned into him, and something inside me cracked. I can't believe this, I whispered. She didn't look at me. Believe it. I'm done. Chloe turned to me. I'm sorry. I tried. I nodded. Thank you for at least caring. Evan walked past with another box. We're leaving soon. Laura picked up a bag and moved toward the door. I'm moving out today. With him. For good. The words hit like a hammer. Chloe grabbed her arm. Laura, please let go, Laura said coldly. Chloe's hand slipped away. Laura stepped outside with Evan. Leaving the door wide open behind them, like the house itself didn't matter anymore, and standing there in the doorway, I realized something cruel and sharp. This place didn't feel like mine anymore. Not even a little. The house went silent the moment Laura and Evan drove away, and I felt the sound hit me like a punch. I stood in the doorway staring at the empty street, whispering, She's really gone. Mark hovered behind me, asking if I wanted water, but I couldn't answer at all. Mark touched my shoulder and said, Come sit down. I followed him into the living room like my legs didn't know how to work. He asked if I needed to call anyone, but I just shook my head. I can't think, I muttered. Everything feels unreal right now tonight, man. I sat on the couch and buried my face in my hands. Mark kept asking if I wanted him to stay, and I finally whispered, Yes, please. My mind kept replaying her last words. The way she leaned into Evan, my chest felt tight. Like something inside me was breaking, Mark said. Talk to me, man, but my voice barely worked. I didn't see any of this, I whispered. Not one sign. He sat beside me, letting me breathe unevenly. I kept hearing Laura's voice, sharp and cold. I kept seeing the fire pit and our photos turning to ash. Then memories came like punches. I saw us on our first trip, when she held my hand and laughed at everything. I heard her telling me she loved me. I remembered her crying when I proposed. I whispered, How did we get from that to this? Mark exhaled hard beside. My phone buzzed, and I grabbed it fast, hoping it was Laura saying she made a mistake. It wasn't. It was Jenna from work. Need those reports tonight, her text said. I stared at it and whispered, I can't do this. Mark asked what happened, and I handed him back. He said, Just tell her you're sick. I shook my head. I don't even know what I am. I texted Jenna back. I'll try. My hand shook so hard I almost dropped the phone. Mark said, You need sleep. Laughed because sleep felt impossible. Like trying to breathe underwater. Mark helped me to the bedroom, but I couldn't lie down. I paced around the room, holding my chest, whispering, She chose him. Mark told me to sit, but my legs shook. How long was she lying to me? How many nights did she disappear without telling me? Mark sat on the floor beside me. You can't blame yourself, he said. I shook my head. But I do. I should have seen something. My voice cracked. Was I that easy to replace? Mark said no, but I barely heard him. My mind kept replaying her cold voice. Done. Hours passed, though the clock said only minutes moved. Mark asked if I wanted him to stay the night. Please, I whispered. When he went to get blankets, I sat alone and felt the weight of everything crush me. I said, How did my whole life fall apart in one? Mark returned and dropped a blanket over my shoulders. You're not alone, he said. I nodded, staring at the floor. It feels like I am, I replied. My phone buzzed again, Another message from Jenna, asking if I was okay. I typed, "Rough night," then put the phone down, shaking. Mark said, "You need rest," but I couldn't close my eyes. Every time I tried, I saw Laura walking away with him. I whispered, "Maybe I wasn't enough." Mark said, "Don't twist this." But the thought stayed heavy and sharp. Cutting through every bit of hope I had left tonight, I sat back against the wall, pulling the blanket tight. "I don't know who I am without her," I whispered. Mark shook his head and told me I was still me, but I couldn't believe him. Everything felt hollow. I felt like someone unplugged my entire life and left me. When Mark finally dozed off on the couch, I stayed awake, staring at the ceiling. "She's gone," I whispered again, testing the words like they were poison. My chest hurt every time. I didn't know how tomorrow would look, or the next day. All I knew was I couldn't sleep. 3 days passed before I felt strong enough to breathe without shaking. Mark kept checking on me, but I told him I needed space. When he finally left, the house felt too quiet. Like every wall was waiting to remind me that Laura had walked out with someone who never belonged here. I sat on the living room floor and whispered, "Why didn't you talk to me?" The air didn't answer. It just pressed against my chest like a weight. I forced myself to get up and look around. Something felt wrong, like pieces of the truth were hiding in plain sight. I noticed the drawer where we kept our joint account paperwork. I opened it and stared at the missing envelopes. "What did you take?" I whispered. I logged into the account, and my stomach dropped when I saw 3 transfers I didn't recognize. Each one sent to the same name, Evan's cousin. Why would she give him money? I asked myself out loud. The silence answered with a cold feeling creeping up my spine. I opened her laptop, she used to let me use it freely, and found whole message threads deleted. The gaps felt intentional, like someone scrubbed them clean to hide pressure or guilt. I whispered, "Laura, what did he do to you?" For the first time since she left, anger faded long enough for worry to take its place. I thought she had thrown me away because she stopped loving me. Now it felt like something darker had been working its way into our life. I needed help, so I drove to the university and knocked on Professor Hale's office door. He opened it slowly and frowned when he saw my face. "You look like you haven't slept in days," he said. I answered, "I haven't. I need your guidance. My life is falling apart." He stepped aside and let me in. "Tell me everything," he said. I told him about the fire pit, the betrayal, the missing money, the erased messages. When I finished, he leaned back and sighed. "Not every betrayal is a choice," he said. "Sometimes it's a trap someone doesn't see forming." I stared at him. "A trap." He nodded. "Some people manipulate with charm, control money, isolate their target, then rewrite the story until the truth disappears." My breath shook. "You think Evan did that?" Professor Hale said, "I think you should stop believing everything was your fault. Look at the patterns." I swallowed hard. "If he controlled her, how do I prove it?" Professor Hale said, "You start by seeing clearly. Pain clouds the mind. Truth clears it." His words cut deeper than anything I'd heard in days. For the first time since Laura left, I felt something spark inside my fight, not despair. "I don't want my life to end at someone else's lie," I said. He nodded. "Then don't let it." Feeling steady for the first time, "Thank you," I whispered. He told me his door was always open. As I walked out, I felt a small, stubborn hope rebuilding itself inside me. When I got back home, I sat at the table with all the clues spread out. Bank statements, empty folders, her half-packed drawer, the gaps in her digital trail. I whispered, "You were scared, weren't you?" It felt strange to defend her after everything, but something in the evidence felt wrong. Mark called me again that night and asked if I was okay. I told him I'm not, but I'm working on it. He asked what changed, and I said, perspective. He didn't push. He just told me to call if I needed him. When the call ended, I stared at the wall for a long time. I opened the last box she left behind. Inside were printed photos she hadn't burned, ones she must have hidden from Evan. Me kissing her forehead. Her laughing in the kitchen. Us at the lake. I touched the edges and whispered, Why keep these? The question felt heavy, like it carried its own heartbeat. I sat back and let tears fill my eyes, but they weren't the same tears from before. These had questions in them. Were you trying to tell me something? I whispered into the quiet. The house didn't answer, but the photos did. They told me our love had existed and maybe she hadn't thrown it away willingly. I gathered everything into one folder and whispered, "This isn't over." My voice didn't shake this time. For the first time since the night she left, I felt steady enough to stand tall. I didn't know where the truth would lead or what it would cost me, but I knew one thing clearly now. I wasn't done fighting for my life. I would find the truth soon. You said. I walked into the office pretending everything inside me wasn't collapsing. Jenna glanced up from her desk. "You look like hell," she said quietly. "I'm fine," I muttered. "You're not." "What's going on?" "I just need your help with something," I said, lowering my voice. "I need to dig through some old files." "Communications logs?" "Account activity," she frowned. "Sounds serious?" "It is." "Are you in trouble?" "No," I said, "but someone else might be." She studied me for a long moment, then nodded. "Tell me what you need. I'll explain as we go," I said. We stepped into an empty meeting room. I shut the door behind us and pressed my hands to the table. "Jenna, I need to pull the digital backups of my joint accounts." "Everything from the last 6 months, your accounts?" "Yes, that's personal," she said cautiously. "I know. Please." She exhaled. "Okay, sit." I sank into a chair as she opened her laptop. "What exactly are we looking for?" "Transactions that don't make sense. Patterns. Withdrawals Laura never mentioned." Jenna typed for a minute. "You think she stole from you?" "I think someone used her." The screen filled with numbers I'd never seen before. "There," I said, pointing. "That transfer." "She said she was paying for a class?" "That's not tuition money," Jenna said. "Keep going." Another withdrawal. Then another. Small amounts, but consistent. Jenna glanced at me. "This doesn't look like her." "She's always been straightforward." "Not anymore," I whispered. "You sure she wasn't hiding something else? Like personal expenses?" "She never hid anything from me before Evan came around." Jenna murmured. "So this is about him." "It's always been about him," I said. She shifted uncomfortably. "If he's manipulative, shouldn't you talk to her?" "She won't listen," I said. "He's got her wrapped around his finger." Jenna closed the laptop. "Then what now?" "Messages," I said. "Backups. Phone logs. Do you even have access?" "I pulled an old sync file last night." "Jesus," she whispered. "Okay, show me." I opened my phone and scrolled until I found the recovered thread. "Read this." Jenna skimmed a few lines before her eyes widened. "He told her you were planning to leave her?" "Yes, and she believed him." "She trusted him more than me." She shook her head. "This is emotional pressure. Look at the way he phrases things. Prove you're committed. Don't embarrass me. Don't make me regret choosing you. It's textbook control." My throat tightened. "Keep reading," Jenna continued, then stopped abruptly. "He threatened to end things if she didn't meet him that night." "Yes. And that was the night yeah," I said. "That night." Jenna shut the screen like it burned her. "I'm sorry. I didn't know it was this bad." "I didn't either," I whispered. "I kept thinking she just chose him over me." "Not every choice is actually a choice," Jenna said softly. Her words hit me harder than she knew. I stood. "I need to talk to someone." "Who?" "Professor Hale." She blinked. "Your old mentor?" "Yeah, you think he can help?" "He always sees things clearly," I said. "Even when I don't." Jenna touched my arm. "If you need backup, call me." "I will," I said. "Thank you. Be careful," she added. "People like Evan don't like being exposed." "I'm not exposing him," I said. "Not yet." She looked worried. "Just don't do this alone." "I'm not alone," I said, though I felt exactly that. I drove to campus and found Professor Hale in his cramped office, buried behind stacks of books. He looked up. "You look troubled." "I need your perspective," I said. "Sit, my boy. Tell me what's eating you." I lowered myself into the chair and rubbed my face. It's Laura and Evan. His eyebrows rose slightly. Ah, I found things, I said. Messages, transactions, pressure, threats. He pushed her into everything. He listened silently as I explained. When I finished, he leaned back. And what do you think this means? That she betrayed me, I said. But not entirely by choice. He nodded. Not every betrayal is a choice. Sometimes it's a trap. I swallowed hard. So she was trapped. Yes, he said. But that doesn't erase your pain. It just changes its shape. I stared at the floor. I don't know what to do with this. What do you want? He asked gently. I want the truth. All of it. And keep digging, he said. But be sure you're digging for clarity, not revenge. I don't want revenge, I said. I just want my life back, he said. Starts with understanding exactly what happened. I nodded slowly. I'm getting closer. As I left campus, my phone buzzed. A message from an unexpected number. We need to talk. Nina hesitated, then called her. She answered immediately. I heard what happened. From who? Laura, she said. She's a mess. Good to know, I said bitterly. That's not why I'm calling, Nina said. I think you should know Evan isn't who she thinks. You suddenly care? No, she said. I still don't like you. But I liked watching her drift from you even less once I realized why. I froze. Why? Because he does this, she said. To everyone. My stomach dropped. You knew? I suspected, Nina said. He plays the same games with all his partners. Lies, guilt, pressure, and you didn't warn her? She wouldn't have listened, Nina muttered. She thought he was some kind of savior. What do you want from me? To tell you you're not crazy, she said. You didn't lose her. He took her. I closed my eyes. What am I supposed to do with that? Whatever you want, she said. Expose them. Psst. Walk away. Burn everything down. Just remember, she wasn't herself. The line went quiet. I stared at the city lights through my windshield, gripping my phone until my knuckles ached. I had proof. I had witnesses. I had truth. But I also had a choice. Destroy them publicly, or walk away silently with the knowledge that her love hadn't died, only been twisted. For the first time in weeks, I felt the weight shift. Maybe I wasn't the one who had failed. Maybe I was the one who finally understood. I didn't wake up that morning with any grand decision. I just sat at my desk, staring at the legal forms Mark helped me pull together the night before, and whispered to myself, I'm not going after them. I'm protecting myself. That's it. Saying it out loud made something settle inside my chest. Quiet, firm, unshakable. Chloe called first. Are you awake? She asked. Barely, I said. Well, you're going to want to hear this. They're fighting. Like bad. I leaned back. Already? Oh yeah. She was yelling in the parking lot yesterday. Something about him using her card again. I exhaled slowly. Her money, not mine. That's a start. Chloe hesitated. You sound calm. I know, I murmured. I don't understand it either. She lowered her voice. You're really not going to confront them? No, I said. I'm done bleeding for people who don't even notice the wound. When the call ended, I rested my head on my arms. For once, my pulse wasn't racing. I wasn't replaying every memory or blaming myself for not being enough. I felt still. By noon, Jenna swung by my desk at work. You're unusually composed today, she said. I'm trying something new, I replied. Which is, not falling apart? She gave me a long look. If you need anything, just tell me. I might need help later, I admitted. Not revenge. Just clarity. Say the word, she said. After work, Chloe called again, as if she'd been waiting for me to be alone. You will not believe what I just heard, she said. I probably will, I answered. Evan lost his job. I paused. What? Apparently someone reported him for inappropriate behavior. Multiple people. HR finally acted. I rubbed my face. So the universe is doing the heavy lifting for me. Pretty much, Chloe said. Laura looked destroyed. That's not my problem anymore, I said. Not in a cruel way, just reality, Chloe whispered. I'm proud of you. I'm trying to be proud of me too. Later that evening, my phone buzzed with a number I recognized instantly. Nina. The last person I expected. I stared at it before picking up. What do you want, Nina? Relax, she said. I'm not calling to fight you. That would be a first. She sighed. I told her. I blinked. Told her what? The stuff Evan said. The things he hid. The way he twisted everything to make her doubt you. I sat up. Why? Because I'm not watching him ruin her life the way he ruined the last girl's. So you suddenly grew a conscience? I asked. She snorted. Don't push it. I didn't like you, sure. But I never wanted this. Did she believe you? Nina hesitated. She's cracking. She wanted to call you. Let her want, I said. Nina let out a breath. You're different. I've had to be, she said softly. I'm sorry. For how I acted? I liked seeing her drift from you. I thought you were wrong for her. I didn't know he was the one rotting everything from the inside. Now you do, I said. Yeah. And I'm telling you because someone should tell you the truth without sugarcoating it. Thank you, I replied. She sounded surprised. You're welcome. When we hung up, I sat in silence. The room felt warmer than it had in weeks, but it didn't last long. Laura called. Her name lit up my phone like a warning siren. My chest tightened, but not from pain more, like a tug from a ghost that no longer lived in my house. The phone rang, and rang, and rang. I let it. I didn't move. I didn't even breathe deeply until the ringing stopped. A minute later, Chloe texted, She's looking for you. I think she finally realizes what he is. I typed back. She realized too late. Across the room, sunlight faded behind the blinds, slicing the floor into dim stripes. I whispered to myself, I'm not running backward anymore. The next morning, Jenna came to my desk again. You didn't sleep, she said. Not much, I replied, but not because of heartbreak. Progress, then. Progress, I repeated. She leaned closer. Are you sure you don't want to expose them? After everything he did? I'm sure, I said. If I destroy them, it becomes my story forever. If I walk away, it becomes theirs. She studied me. You know, that's powerful. It's survival. At lunch, Chloe called again. You okay? She asked. I'm weirdly steady. Good, because Laura showed up at my place. Froze. Why? She said she needs to talk to you. No, I said immediately. That's what I told her. What did she say? She cried, Chloe said. She kept saying she didn't know the full truth. Didn't realize how far he pushed her. That's convenient now, I muttered. Yeah, Chloe said. But listen, this part matters. She said she misses you, laughed once, short and sharp. She misses the version of me she didn't bother to protect. Do you want me to tell her to stop trying? Yes, I said. I'm not her safety net. When the call ended, I pressed my hands together. I felt the shift inside me, the part where I finally believed I deserved more than scraps. Later that evening, Mark stopped by. You look good, he said. I'm getting there. You heard about Evan? Everyone's heard about Evan. Mark shook his head. Karma's slow, but it's thorough. I'm noticing, I said. He sat on the couch across from me. So what now? I keep my boundaries. I take care of myself. And I let their mess stay theirs. That's growth, he said. That's survival, I replied. Right then, my phone buzzed again with Laura's name. I turned it over, screen down, and said, She made her choice. Mark nodded. And now you're making yours. I'm healing, I whispered. Finally. And for the first time since everything shattered, I actually believed it. Laura showed up at my door just after sunset, knocking like she was afraid the sound might break her. I opened it slowly, expecting anger or excuses, but instead she whispered, Can I come in? And her voice cracked. I felt my stomach twist because I knew this moment was coming. Why are you here, Laura? I asked, stepping back only far enough for her to walk inside. She hesitated, like even crossing the threshold hurt. When she finally entered, she wrapped her arms around herself as if the air in my house was colder than the one outside. "I ruined everything," she said. "I know I don't deserve a second of your time." But I didn't know where else to go. Her eyes were swollen, her hair unbrushed. And for the first time in months, she looked like the woman I used to recognize. "Sit," I said, though my voice felt detached from me. She sat on the edge of the couch, shaking. "I was so stupid," she whispered. "He made me believe you didn't love me. He fed me lie after lie until I couldn't hear my own thoughts anymore." I leaned against the wall because sitting beside her felt too dangerous. "Laura, you chose him," I said quietly. "You burned our memories." She shook her head violently. "He told me to. He said I needed to prove I was done with you. I thought I was doing the right thing. And now?" I asked. She covered her face. "He used me. He used my money. He lied about everything." Chloe was right. "You were right. Everyone was right except me." I didn't move. I didn't want to touch her grief because it felt like stepping into a fire I had finally escaped. "Why come here?" I asked. She looked up with trembling eyes. "Because I wanted you to know I'm sorry. Not to win you back. Not for forgiveness. Just so you wouldn't think I left because you weren't enough." My chest tightened, because I had blamed myself every night since she walked out. "Laura," I said, "I don't hate you." She sobbed at that, covering her mouth like she didn't deserve the sound. "But I can't go back. I can't rebuild what you handed to someone else." She nodded, tears dripping onto her jeans. "I know," she said. "I'm not asking for us. I just needed truth." I sat down then, but on the opposite end of the couch. "I forgive you," I said, and the words tasted bittersweet. She inhaled sharply. "You do?" "Yes, but forgiveness isn't the same thing as coming back." She nodded, staring at her hands like they were something ruined she couldn't fix. "I deserve that," she whispered. "I deserve worse." I shook my head. "Punishing you wouldn't heal me. Silence did more for me than anger ever could." She wiped her eyes. "I want to make things right." "Some things don't get fixed," I replied. "Some things just end." She broke at that, completely. She leaned forward, hands shaking. "Will you ever talk to me again?" I shrugged softly. "Maybe someday." When the wound stopped bleeding, she cried harder. "He told me you moved on already."
As.
I almost laughed. "I'm learning to breathe again. That's not moving on. That's surviving." "I don't know how to fix my life," she whispered. "Then start by stepping away from people who break it," I replied. "Including me." My throat tightened. "Including him, and the version of me you built from his lies." She nodded slowly, as if understanding that healing meant letting go of both of us. She stood. "Thank you for letting me say this," I nodded. "Take care of yourself, Laura." She walked to the door, pausing only once to look back. "You were the best thing in my life," she said. "I just didn't see it." I didn't answer. Some truths didn't need response. When the door closed behind her, I exhaled, a breath that felt like it had been trapped for months. I didn't feel triumphant. I didn't feel cruel. I felt free. Her regret wasn't my responsibility. Her healing wasn't my job. I forgave her, but the past stayed where it belonged, behind the door. I sat there for a long time, listening to the quiet she left behind. Mark texted asking if I was okay, and I answered honestly for the first time in a while, "I think I am." The emptiness didn't scare me anymore. It felt like space for something new, something honest. Laura's apology didn't fix the damage, but it released a weight I'd carried too long. I realized healing wasn't about getting her back. It was about getting myself back. And for the first time, that felt possible. I finally exhaled again. Months passed, though sometimes it felt like I was learning to breathe one day at a time. When people asked how I was doing, I usually said better, and it wasn't a lie anymore. Work steadied me. I buried myself in projects, deadlines, and quiet mornings. Jenna often stopped by my desk, asking, "You sleeping at all?" And I'd shrug, trying, never pushed. and that small kindness helped more than she knew. One Friday, she leaned against my doorway and said, "You know you don't have to hold everything alone, right?" I smiled faintly. "I'm getting used to not collapsing." "That's not the same as healing," she said, raising an eyebrow. I sighed because she was right, and admitting that didn't make me weak anymore. After work, I met Mark for dinner. He grinned the moment he saw me. "You look human again," he joked. I laughed. "That's the goal." "Over burgers?" he asked. "Any updates from the Chaos duo?" I shook my head. Silence. "And I'm fine with that." Mark nodded. "Good. You deserve peace." Hearing it out loud felt grounding in a way I hadn't expected. Later that week, I visited Professor Hale. His office smelled like old books and warm tea, familiar and safe. "You seem lighter," he observed as I sat down. "Or just older," I joked. He chuckled. "Pain ages us. Healing refines us." I told him about the months after the breakup, the slow rebuilding, the strange calm I now carried. He listened with the same patient attention he always had. "What do you think changed most?" he asked. I thought for a moment. I stopped needing closure from her. I stopped arguing with memories. "That's growth," he said. "Not the loud kind. The quiet kind." I exhaled. "I thought I'd turn cold after everything. You became strong instead." On a rainy Tuesday, Laura sent a letter. No phone call, no text, just her handwriting on the envelope. I stared at it for minutes before opening it. Inside, she wrote pages of apologies, explanations, regrets. She said she hoped I found happiness, even if she never did. She said she still hated herself for burning our photos. She said she knew she couldn't ask for forgiveness again. She wanted me to know she meant the first apology. I read it once. Then I folded it back into the envelope and placed it in a drawer. I didn't reply. Not out of anger, not out of cruelty. Just clarity. That chapter had already ended. Her words no longer had the power to break me or save me. They were simply echoes from a life I no longer lived. That weekend, Jenna invited me to a small gathering. Not a party, she promised. Just people who won't drain your soul. I smirked. High expectations. "I believe in you," she said with a wink, at the gathering. I found myself laughing, really laughing for the first time in months, when Jenna nudged me and said, "See? You're still alive?" I felt something warm unfold in my chest. We talked outside later, the air cool and gentle. "You're different now," she said. "Better." I looked up at the sky. I had to choose who I wanted to be after the fire. "And who's that?" she asked. "Someone who doesn't set himself on fire to keep others warm," I replied. As the months moved on, hope didn't feel dangerous anymore. I didn't force romance with Jenna or anyone, but I didn't shut the door on the possibility either. I was learning that love wasn't supposed to feel like survival. It was supposed to feel like peace. One afternoon, I opened the drawer where Laura's letter lay and saw the faint ash stains on the wedding photo scraps I'd kept. I touched them without pain. "Some things burn," I whispered to myself, "so we can rise." And for the first time, I believed it. Healing hadn't come from revenge or vindication. It came from choosing myself, day by day, breath by breath. The past was ash, the future unwritten, and for once, I wasn't afraid of either. I closed the drawer gently and stepped into the quiet of my rebuilt life, feeling something I hadn't felt in a long time ready. Later that evening, I walked around my neighborhood, letting the cool air settle my thoughts. A couple passed me, holding hands, and instead of feeling that sharp sting of loss, I felt something steady and calm inside me. I whispered, "I'll get there someday," and for once, it didn't sound like a lie. When I reached my house, I paused at the door, realizing it no longer felt empty. It felt like a place where I could begin again, slowly, honestly, and on my own terms.